Inside the dungeon are very strong beasts that will serve as excellent evolution material, and it also happens to be the fastest way to increase one's strength. As such, Hong Shi Yu tells Yi Ling to go have a look inside, and he, in response, thanks his teacher. This realm card makes him excited for the future, and he decides to head inside immediately. Just like that, he ventures to the secret realm hall, where all the secret realms owned by the Academy are stored. Apparently, this place is also guarded by strong individuals of at least the 7th rank. He Shu Wei and Sun Ning accompany Yi Ling to the hall, wishing they too could go inside, if only once. Alas, they aren't nearly strong enough yet and can only dream of doing so. And so, Yi Ling continues heading deeper alone until he stumbles upon a guard, asking her how he can get into the realm. However, the guard tells him to stop with his nonsense. She questions what on earth a newbie is doing here, but Yi Ling shows her the realm card, leaving her surprised. This makes her wonder what on earth this absurd school is thinking, allowing a newly enrolled student to venture inside. Excuse me, but why isn't she surprised to see a male student? Isn't that supposed to be the biggest shock? Still, he does have a realm card, meaning he has the permission to go inside. Hence, she can't really stop him. Consequently, she begins leading the way to the entrance of the secret realms. On the way, she explains that there are several different types of realms owned by the school. Each stone door represents realms of different levels, and for a new student, it's best to go to the lowest level first. It's well known that the realms aren't particularly safe, and once inside, one can encounter dangerous situations. What's more, if they cannot manage to leave in time, they might end up getting buried inside as well, forfeiting their lives. But it's not like Yi Ling is unaware of the dangers. With this, he decides to venture into the 2nd level of the realm. However, the guard warns him that the 2nd level is much more dangerous. In addition, she reveals the exploration time is 3 days. There, as he stands in front of the realm gate, Yi Ling begins to second-guess himself, wondering if he really has what it takes to survive inside the 2nd level realm on his own for 3 days. Just then, the system issues him a mission to explore the 2nd level for an unknown reward. Now, having been given this quest, he decides to not stall anymore and ventures inside, vowing to use this time to advance Feng Jiyu to the 2nd rank. Secret realm. Here I come, he proclaims. Our boy is making waves. On the other hand, the guard goes into deep thought, contemplating why the young ones don't value their lives anymore. Nevertheless, Yi Ling takes his first steps into the realm and is immediately greeted by a horde of monsters. As a result, he calls out both Shu Wei Yu and Feng Jiyu, so they can start the exploration. There, he tells Feng Jiyu that this is a special realm prepared for him to level up quickly. They need to perform well, so they can reach rank 2 within the next 3 days. However, Feng Jiyu doesn't really like the fact that he's being controlled. Out of nowhere, he lashes out and flies into the air, claiming leveling up is no big deal for him. And so, she heads to a nearby group of monsters and transforms into his phoenix form, ready to fight. Witnessing this, Yi Ling is taken aback, commenting on how this transformation is a bit too flashy for his liking. He warns Feng Jiyu that causing a commotion is sure to attract more monsters, and just like he said, they get confronted by a pack of wasteland wolves, as well as their leader. What's more, the leader is a rank 2 beast, making for a tough opponent at their current level. Suddenly, the system issues a new task. It tells Feng Jiyu to complete the first battle alone, and upon completion, they will be rewarded with a double experience boost card, and this task couldn't have come at a better time. Yi Ling orders his new pet to show off her power, adding that he and Shu Wei Yu will simply watch from the sidelines and not intervene. And Feng Jiyu is up for the challenge. As per her, these wolves are akin to ants in front of her power, and she moves in for the fight, warning her master to stay away or they might get hurt. Alas, the wolf leader is no pushover as well. Seeing the approaching threat, it uses its fire attribute to unleash a blast, hurling it directly towards Feng Jiyu. This blast ends up making contact, causing a huge explosion. However, Feng Jiyu emerges from the blow without a scratch. All of a sudden, Yi Ling remembers something crucial. His new pet has an advanced fire immunity talent. This means that fire cannot affect her at all. And now, the wolf pack is in for a world of hurt. And so Feng Jiyu decides to end things once and for all. Burned to ashes, she orders the wolves as she unleashes her skill, Hellfire, sending green flames toward her foes. The skill is so strong, in fact, that a single attack is enough to completely eradicate the entire pack, along with their leader. Not only that, the attack also chars the surrounding area as well, a truly terrifying and fearsome skill. Talk about being overpowered. Regardless, this brings an end to the battle, and Yi Ling's automatic pickup skill kicks into gear. Thanks to it, he now doesn't have to rummage through the corpses like he had to do before, and he obtains a wild wolf claw, heart, and even a novice rank fire crystal. Seeing all these items, Yi Ling compliments Feng Ji-yu's strength. However, she keeps up her high and mighty attitude. Despite this, Yi Ling just plays it cool, suggesting they leave this place and go find some more monsters to fight. In response, Feng Ji-yu begins complaining about how tired she is from the battle, but Yi Ling pays her no mind and continues forward. No one likes a whiny companion after all. On the other hand, at the Academy's mess hall, Shu Wei and Sun Ning talk about the hellish training they have to undergo. As a result, they now have to eat their fill and replenish their strength for the next training session, which is later that same day. Damn, the school really is working these girls hard. Their Sun Ming wonders why Yi Ling didn't train with them, and Shu Wei explains that he went to a dungeon by himself. Obviously, this surprises everyone, and some even doubt this claim, stating there is no way a freshman would be allowed to venture inside a realm all by himself. After all, it's a very dangerous place, and it's easy for the students to get hurt or even killed. But this makes Yu Ni question why their counselor, Hong Shiyu, didn't accompany him. Meanwhile, in the teacher's lounge, Yao Yu lashes out at Hong Shiyu, asking what she was thinking by letting a new student enter the realm alone. However, Hong Shiyu just tells her to relax. Even though she is his instructor, she is not worried in the slightest, and hence, there is no reason Gao Yu should be. Consequently, Gao Yu then calms down a bit and repeats her question, asking why a freshman was allowed inside the realm. This time, Hong Shiyu explains there is nothing to worry about. With Yu Ling's compatibility, a rank 1 realm is no problem for him. However, she is being too naive. As per Gao Yu, Yi Ling has opted to enter a rank 2 realm instead, but still, in Hong Shiyu's eyes, this shouldn't warrant any issues. I mean, Yi Ling is already a rank 2 spirit tamer at the end of the day, and he knows how to take care of himself. Hearing her nonchalant attitude, Gao Yu ultimately decides to give up on the interrogation. She's busy as it is without having to always question her fellow teacher's methods. Therefore, she decides to take her leave, but not before warning Hong Shiyu that she will be the one explaining the situation to the headmistress if anything unexpected happens. Back inside the realm, Yi Ling suddenly sneezes, making him think that someone might be missing him. Nonetheless, they continue their exploration. Suddenly, Shu Wei senses some monsters in the distance. However, it appears the beasts are too far away to be seen clearly, and hence, Feng Ji is tasked to fly her master and Shu Wei over there and figure out what these monsters are. Of course, Feng Ji isn't very happy about being ordered around, but agrees to do so in exchange for some delicious food tonight, and Yi Ling agrees her terms. To be honest, Feng Ji is starting to get on my nerves. Maybe they should just have some phoenix stew for dinner. As a result, all 3 of them fly up in the air to scope out their next possible targets. On the way, Yi Ling feels an intense rush of thrill, commenting on how great it feels to be flying in the sky like this. Soon, they reach their desired location and look down to find a battle is ongoing. Apparently, a pack of blazing lions is currently in the middle of hunting down an earth-bending bull. According to Yi Ling, all of these monsters are rank 2, so it's probably better to let them fight it out for now, and they can swoop in and take care of the ones left standing. With this, the monsters then begin battling it out. The lions try to pounce on the bull, but thanks to its earth-bending abilities, the cow is able to create a stone barrier around itself, protecting it from any damage. Haha. Even this cow is stronger than most of the humans Yi Ling faced until now. All the while, Yi Ling is mesmerized after seeing the confrontation between 2 rank 2 beasts. He knows none of them are weak, and he has seemingly miscalculated how dangerous this second-level realm really is. Still, time isn't a luxury he has. They only have 3 days to explore this realm, meaning their time is of the utmost value. As such, he plans to use Shu Wei Yu to launch a sneak attack and finish them off, and she heeds her master's command. All of a sudden, she jumps down on the blazing lions and starts her rampage. In the meantime, Yi Ling wants Feng Ji to attack from above, using Shu Weiyu's antics as a distraction. He aims to kill all the monsters before they even realize what's going on, and Feng Ji agrees to do so. On the ground, Shu Wei makes use of her new blood manipulation skill and freezes all her foes in place, leaving them wide open for attacks like lambs in a slaughterhouse. However, as luck would have it, One of the lions is a rank 2 level 5 beast, and because of this, Shueyu's blood manipulation has no real effect on it. As a result, the lion manages to break free from her control and pounces into attack. Of course, she's able to strike it down, but this leaves her arm burnt to a crisp. Fortunately, she can regenerate it pretty quickly. On the other hand, Feng Jiyu begins to set every opponent ablaze from above, where no one can reach her. Still, although this does damage, it's not enough to bring down these monsters, and hence, Shueyu has to individually land the finishing blow. There, Yiling realizes that if he wants Feng Jiyu to advance to rank 2, she has to participate in battles as well, or else Shuei, you will kill all the monsters on her own and gain all the experience points. However, much like before, Feng Jiyu doesn't really like being bossed around very much. Meanwhile, in the Xuan Wu Academy, students are seen gossiping about Yiling, the guy who recently joined the academy and went into a secret realm all by himself. Obviously, this is a suicide mission from their perspective, and the students wait in anticipation to see the outcome. They're Huo Xian Er and Zhang Shengnan, who are now part of this Xuan Wu Academy, also talk about this recent development. Hearing this news, Huo Xian Er is left surprised and troubled at the same time. Yiling, you're getting strong way too fast, she thinks. Someone sounds jealous. How cute. Anyway, back in the realm, Yiling tells his pets about how precious of a commodity time is in this realm. As such, he isn't really keen on wasting any more than they have to, suggesting they take a small break for Feng Jiyu, and then begin their hunt once more. However, Feng Jiyu is left exhausted after the previous battle. Unlike a zombie such as Shueyu, she cannot simply keep going without proper rest and wants to chill out for a while, and Yiling ends up agreeing. Just then, something triggers Shueyu's senses. Seeing her distressed, Yiling questions what's wrong, and she claims that there is something weird out in the distance. Therefore, he decides to investigate what this weird thing is, and they both head deeper into the forest, where they stumble upon a strange, glowing fruit. This is the first time Yiling has ever seen anything like this. Even the Federation notebook doesn't have any record of such a fruit, making it all the rarer. Bewitched by its beauty, Yiling is drawn closer and closer to it. But this is a grave mistake. Out of nowhere, Shueyu calls out to her master, telling him to watch out. All of a sudden, it is revealed that this fruit is but a bait. From beneath, a two-headed green python, ranked 2 level 8, emerges and bares its fangs toward the duo. Without wasting even a single moment, the monster dives into attack, and our duo is forced to respond. Seriously, is this necessary? Yiling exclaims, but it's not like he has a choice. If he doesn't act fast, he will end up becoming this monster's dinner. And so, he immediately uses his spiritual chain and tries to restrict the foe's movements. However, a mere rank 2 spiritual chain isn't strong enough to control this two-headed python, and it easily breaks free from the chain's clutches. With this, the python then moves in for the kill. In response, Shueyu rises to shield her master, but even she won't be able to overpower such an opponent alone. Thankfully, as fate would have it, Yiling now has a new pet that can come to their aid. He calls for Feng Jiyu, and she comes flying in, annoyed that she can't even have a peaceful rest anymore. Enraged, she tries setting the python ablaze, using her powers to create a barrier to protect her master simultaneously. Seeing this barrier, Yiling questions why Feng Jiyu didn't use it earlier as well, but she remains quiet, simply announcing that the beasts who woke her up will now have to face the consequences of their actions. Consequently, she then unleashes her skill, Hellfire. However, this is a problem. Yiling wants the glowing fruit the python used as bait and orders Feng Jiyu to be careful not to turn it into ash. Heeding her master's command, she complies, striking down the python and burning the surrounding area to a crisp as well. Doesn't look like she listened though. Seeing this display, Yiling compliments his pet, commenting on how they can now feast on snake meat again. More importantly, though, he heads closer to the mysterious, rare fruit and grabs it. Via his cheat system, he learns that this fruit is called the Fruit of the Dead Spirit. It's apparently formed by absorbing the spirits of the dead. When monsters devour it, the spirit will consume the soul of the original body, taking control of the monster. In addition, it is also a high-grade evolution material used for spirit pets, that too an extremely rare one. Realizing this, Yiling is left flabbergasted, though pleasantly surprised. This is exactly what he needs for Shueiyu's next evolution. He remarks that this secret realm is a great trip, and that the trip has now become worthwhile. As such, he wants to keep on hunting. wanting to make the most of their limited time. The fact is, they can only enter this place once a month, and they have no time to waste. Give poor Feng Jiyu a break. If not, she's going to go AWOL at some point. Just like that, Yi Ling and his pets spend each day hunting monsters, getting into all sorts of trouble and shenanigans. Eventually, the 3 days pass by in the blink of an eye. Now, Feng Jiyu has reached rank 2 level 2, whereas Shui Yu is now ranked 2 level 3. Yi Ling is thoroughly impressed at the amount of leveling up they have managed to achieve. However, it is now time to leave the secret realm, and they head to the exit gate and return back to the real world. Later that day, Gao Yu seeks an audience with the headmistress, where she reveals that, as per the administrators, the second stage of the realm is left in tatters. The forest has been burned by hellfire. The vegetation has been damaged, and it will take significant time for the realm to recover. Obviously, this stuns the headmistress, who questions just what on earth happened. In response, Gao Yu explains that this is all caused by a soul student, Yi Ling, who enrolled recently and ventured into the realm on his own. And that is what you call a snitch. Kids, never be like her. Hearing this, the headmistress becomes excited. This Yi Ling is interesting. She chuckles. As such, she orders Gao Yu to close the realm for now and send a restoration team to deal with the aftermath, and Gao Yu obeys, asking what sort of punishment should be given to Yi Ling for causing all this destruction. But the headmistress is against any punishments, revealing she has already made arrangements on her own. On the other hand, at academy grounds, the female students are left mesmerized by their new male schoolmate. They talk about how he has become a big shot, especially now that he has been dominating the headlines on the official websites for several days. Not only was he the first male student to enroll in history, but he was even allowed to go into a realm on his first day. All of this has made its way to the news, and now, everyone is talking about it. They even comment on how he looks even more handsome in person than in his pictures, talking about how they might end up falling in love with him or something. I suggest you all keep it in your pants. However, the person in question, Yi Ling, is not really thrilled about these developments. All he wants to do is live out his life peacefully, and he wonders if he will become the center of attention like this whenever he goes to a realm in the future. Obviously, Yi Ling is not used to all this attention. Not when he was considered at the bottom of the barrel, trash back in his old school. But hey, that's what you call character development. Suddenly, the system pops up. Now that Yi Ling has explored and come out of the realm, he has completed his quest and is rewarded for his troubles. The system gives him a spirit skill, Eye of Truth, as well as 5 spirit crystals and 5 experience crystals. Quite the loot if you ask me. As it turns out, the Eye of Truth has the same ability as Pursuit Vision. Through this skill, one can see any relevant data of any target locked by the hosts, though it does consume about 20 spirit points per second and cannot be upgraded. Still, it's quite the tool to have in your arsenal. Even though Yi Ling can find out most information thanks to his system, much of the data is still incomplete, and he decides to try out this new skill. And so, he first checks out a leaf, learning all there is about the object. His eyes are then directed toward a young girl walking by. Via his skill, he learns this girl is Wang Lingyu, a 19-year-old who is rank 1 level 9. Not only that, he even manages to find out her power, skills, and even her measurements. And no, I'm not only talking about height, if you know what I mean. Seeing this, Yi Ling is left a bit flustered and runs away, thinking about how incredible it is that his system gives him such unconventional skills. Still, it uses about 5 spirit power each time he uses it, and hence, he decides to hold off using it for the time being. Anyway, he then begins searching for Hong Shiyu and finds her dilly-dallying somewhere. Upon seeing him, she asks how he feels, now that he has come out of the realm, and Yi Ling is excited for the next time. Nevertheless, he asks where his group members are, and Hong Shiyu reveals she has a surprise for him in store. As it turns out, with the headmistress's permission, Yi Ling has been directly promoted to the 2nd grade. Apparently, the practical classes in the 2nd grade are harsher and more frequent, and hence, he needs to have some equipment materials prepared. Consequently, she hands him the admission bonus, as well as the address to the most famous equipment shop in the Holy City, Tianyu Pavilion. She tells him to go and buy all the equipment and materials he needs there. She will go and make arrangements for his promotion. As such, he heads to the pavilion building by himself and finds it to be a majestic building. So much so that it doesn't even look like a shop, but rather a treasure house. Still, he enters the store and is greeted by an attendant who asks if she can be of any service. With this, Yiling asks where he can sell materials, and the attendant replies that the sales section is on the second floor. But first, she questions if Yiling is a student of the Zhu Juwei Academy, and he confirms this. But the attendant is obviously skeptical of this. As far as she knows, the Zhu Juwei Academy only accepts females, meaning Yiling is lying. Therefore, she turns him away, claiming they cannot trade with people of unknown identity. Of course, Yiling tries to explain that he really is a student, but the attendant doesn't believe him, telling him to leave. Just then, someone intervenes. This someone is revealed to be Chen Liyi, a third-grade student of the Zhu Juwei Academy. She decides to deal with Yiling personally, explaining that this pavilion is owned by her family, and she can give him a good price for the items he wants to sell. As a result, Yiling decides to take her up on the offer and pulls out a ring. But that's not all. He also brings out a bunch of other materials and items, claiming he has personally collected these all from the second-level secret realm. Quite the haul if you ask me. Even at first glance, Chen Liyi can see these are all pretty good, finally believing the rumors that he ventured into a realm on his first day, all by himself. Upon closer inspection, she also finds an emerald pearl, and she becomes delighted. Apparently, she has been searching for this item for a while now, since it's required to evolve her poison mist vine. In response, Yiling decides to give it to her. I mean, it's not like he has any grass-type pets that can really use it, and Chen Liyi accepts it without any hesitation. With this, she then orders the shop assistant, referred to as Old Zhao, to calculate the prices of all the materials, keeping in mind to give Yiling a good price, and the assistant begins doing so. On the other hand, Yiling reveals he has another request. He wants to buy some ordinary equipment and some low-level materials, and Chen Liyi asks Zhao to help him with that, once she is done with her current task, adding that he can get a good discount. Soon, he's able to buy everything he needs and prepares to leave. Chen Liyi explains that everything he has bought will be delivered to his doorstep, stating he is more than welcome to come back and buy anything he needs. With this, he thanks his senior and heads on his way, whereas Chen Liyi reminds him to not call her senior and call her by her name. First name basis already? Good for her. As he walks off, Old Zhao gets a bit curious. As it turns out, Chen Liyi has never treated anyone like this before, and she questions if she has a crush on Yiling. But Chen Liyi doesn't really like her question, and tells her to mind her own business, if she knows what is good for her. Looks like someone is trying to hide their embarrassment. Meanwhile, at the academy, Yiling's classmates are pretty bummed after hearing the news of his promotion. Of course, the only boy in their entire school is leaving their class after all. It's sure to bum out any girl, especially with our boy being quite the catch. Nevertheless, Yiling reaches the academy grounds, talking about how he managed to get 450,000 federal points for his material. In addition, he then spent 170,000 on his new equipment. As he contemplates his budgeting, he is suddenly confronted by a fellow schoolmate. Someone in the comments said a feminist entered the chat. Cancel that dude. This girl, Wu Shuan, questions if this guy is Yiling and immediately jumps into an attack, after learning that he indeed is. Obviously, he isn't really sure why he's getting attacked, even more so when he doesn't know who this chick is. But Xu Shuan proclaims there is no need for that. They just need to fight, and maybe they can talk later. Alas, Yiling knows better than to get into a fist fight and evades all the blows, running away while announcing he has better things to do than to brawl with her. His escape maneuver pisses off Wu Shuan even more, and she vows to dismantle him when she sees him next. Later on, Yiling then meets up with Hong Xiyu, who asks what's up after seeing him all distressed. As a result, he explains he met a weird person on the way and had some trouble with her. However, as per Hong Xiyu, this is something he has to get accustomed to. The fact is, he's the only boy in the school, and now he has been promoted to the second grade. Regardless, she gets right onto the topic. She wants to introduce him to his new teacher. Just then, Li Qingyue, a rank 7 level 3 tamer, sneaks up behind them. As fate would have it, she is Yiling's new teacher, who has just recently gotten back from one of her missions. Seeing him here, Li Qingyue decides to tease him a bit. Out of nowhere, she gets all in his face, commenting on how he is quite handsome but lacks confidence. She questions how he will follow her in the future like this, leaving Yiling flustered. Nevertheless, Hong Xiyu tells her to cut it out, and then takes her leave, and Li Qingyue decides to take her new student to meet his fellow classmates. New waifus incoming. On the other hand, at another part of the school, some girls are seen discussing how a boy is getting into their class. They seem to be worried about the ranking, especially since he's only a freshman, and no matter how strong he is, He just can't join their group. Just then, Li Qingyue, along with Yi Ling, appeared behind them. Li Qingyue introduces Yi Ling to the girls and also explains the ranking system. Apparently, the second grade's performance assessment is re-ranked, and everything is based on actual combat. Moreover, the girl in front of him, Zhao Siyu, is the first place holder of the entire grade. With this, Zhao Siyu welcomes him into their class. But to Yi Ling, this is all a bit weird, almost as if they are too enthusiastic. Consequently, he decides to check out her stats, learning that Zhao Siyu is already ranked to level 8 with 2 rare spirit pets. Their strength is really extraordinary, he thinks. This makes him all the more excited, and he wants to ask a few things. Supposing the assessment is based on actual combat, would it then mean he could become the first place in the second grade if he directly defeats Zhao Siyu? Hearing this, Li Qingyue begins to chuckle. According to her, there are some rules and regulations, and Zhao Siyu decides to elaborate. If he wants to challenge her, he must be in the top 10. However, as of now, he is unranked. Hearing this, Yi Ling exclaims how this ranking system is a bit troublesome. But things could be easier. Suddenly, Wu Shuan comes into the frame. As it turns out, she's actually the third place in the second grade and announces that if he can defeat her, she will give him the third rank. However, in exchange, she wants Yi Ling to leave Zhujue Academy. If he loses, I'm already getting pretty sick of her. Seeing her annoying face and shitty personality, Yi Ling recognizes this girl as the one who suddenly attacked him in the middle of the street. However, Wu Shuan remains steadfast in her challenge and questions if he is brave enough to accept. On the other hand, Zhao Siyu and her lackeys begin gossiping. They know that Wu Shuan is going too far with her actions. After all, Yi Ling has everything to lose in this battle, and, at least to them, it makes no sense for him to accept such a disadvantageous fight, with almost no reward. But Yi Ling isn't a sissy, and immediately agrees to the bet. In response, Wu Shuan wastes no time and summons her spirit pet, a thunderous bear. As it turns out, the pet is ranked to level 7, and even Zhao Siyu comments on how Wu Shuan is going all out right from the start. Meanwhile, the other students all start to gather after hearing the commotion. Apparently, it's been a while since Wu Shuan has called out her pet, and the students are taken aback by how strong the pet's presence is. But how could it not be? The fact is, no matter how arrogant she is the third highest ranked in the second grade. Basically, she has the right to be cocky. Anyway, just to be safe, Yi Ling checks out his opponent's stats, learning she is ranked to level 7. In addition, she has many strong skills, making her quite a bit difficult to deal with. As a result, he calls out Shu Yu, and her appearance causes yet another commotion. The girls all fawn over her beauty, remarking at how unfair it is that a spirit pet is so much better looking than them. Ouch, that must hurt to admit, but Wu Shuan is really unhappy about being taken lightly. She tells Yi Ling to call out his second pet as well, asking if he seriously thinks that a humanoid pet like Shu Yu can really take on her thunderous bear. Let's try to not fly too close to the sun. Remember Icarus? Nevertheless, Yi Ling tells her not to worry and to bring it on. And so, she charges in, ordering her pet to tear Shu Yu apart. Seeing this, Yi Ling also orders his pet to attack, telling her to handle the situation as she sees fit. What a great help he is. Just like that, the two exchange blows. The collision of their attacks is so strong that it kicks up a dust storm, out of which both pets emerge without a single scratch. Never having experienced such a sight, Yi Ling is taken aback at how tough the skin of his foe is. Alas, this is just the start, at least as per Wu Shuan. The real show is yet to come, she announces as she orders her pet to unleash the Thunderbolt armor. With this, the thunderous bear begins emitting a strong aura and equips an armor glowing with a purple hue. Seeing this, Zhao Siyu explains that not only does this armor have strong defensive capabilities, but it also deals significant damage when one makes contact with the armor. The entire crowd is flabbergasted at how truly terrifying Wu Shuan's power it is. But how could it not be? After all, the thunderous bear is a power-type pet, and combined with the strong thunder force it can utilize, the power of his punch must be unimaginable. They gossip with each other, wondering how long Yi Ling's pretty little pet can last against such fearsome strength. Back on the battlefield, Shu Yu tries to attack her foe. However, just as mentioned before, she is the one who ends up taking damage. Although she does manage to trip the bear, bringing it to its back and even getting on top of it, Shu Yu's arms buckle under the pressure. Xiao Siyu, watching from the sidelines, comments on how she must have been hit by the lightning backlash. And now, her arms should be practically useless. Little do they know about Shu Weiyu's super speed regeneration. In the blink of an eye, she regenerates her arms, healing all of her injuries. Seeing this, Wu Shuan feels a bit cornered. She admits that she has underestimated her opponent, but now her hand has been forced. Looks like someone is finally off of their high horse. With this, she calls out her second spirit pet, Phantom Lizard. Nonetheless, the crowd doesn't seem to think the fight is going in Wu Shuan's favor. From what they can see, the thunderous bear is getting suppressed and now needs help. What's more, Shui Yu is too strong from their perspective. The frequency and power of her attacks haven't changed at all, almost as if she is performing like a machine. Still, they doubt that Wu Shuan, the third-ranked student, will really lose to a newcomer. Suddenly, Shen Liyi also comes to watch the battle unfold, but is left disgusted. As per her, it is one thing to bully the weak. However, Yi Ling is now outnumbered as well, a truly pitiable fellow. Back in the ring, the Phantom Lizard manages to sneak up behind Yi Ling, and Wu Shuan orders her pet to take him down. Alas, Yi Ling saw this trick coming from a mile away. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book after all. He simply takes a sideways step and easily evades the blow, claiming he has been waiting for them to make a move. Obviously, Wu Shuan is left speechless and wonders how on earth he pulled it off. He couldn't have discovered the Phantom Lizard since it came from a blind spot, but she doesn't really know that our boy is just built different, and that he has a cheat system to help him out. Fortunately for him, he had been keeping his new Eye of Truth open for the whole fight. With this, he then summons his second pet, Feng Jiyu, telling her to step in and resolve the battle once and for all. Consequently, Wu Shuan orders her pet to return back to her quickly, but it's already too late. Feng Jiyu, with her insane power, begins her rampage, sending out one attack after the other. In the blink of an eye, she goes all out and uses her flames to quickly defeat the foe. On the other hand, seeing this development, Xiao Siyu is taken aback by fear. She orders everyone to disperse immediately, claiming it's too dangerous to continue watching from up close. And she couldn't be more right. Feng Jiyu goes on a killing spree, unleashing a barrage of blasts, and before you know it, both of Wu Shuan's pets are rendered unable to continue. This encounter leaves her ego completely shattered, and she collapses to the floor, commenting on how Yi Ling is just too terrifying. The feminist has been defeated. Both Hong Shiyu and Gao Yu, who are also revealed to have been watching, are surprised as well. Gao Yu inquires if Hong Shiyu already knew Yi Ling had the Divine Phoenix as a pet, but it's her first time seeing this as well. Regardless, now that the fight is over, Yi Ling tells Feng Jiyu to calm down and withdraw her powers. The chaos she has wreaked is more than enough. In the first place, she wasn't ordered to go all out. Heeding her master's command, Feng Jiyu then stops her attacks, telling her master to say such things earlier. Poor old Feng Jiyu, you might have used more energy than required. Anyway, Wu Shuan concedes the battle and accepts her loss. As such, she offers her ranking to Yi Ling, promising to transfer the resources of the third seat into his account later. On the flip side, the other students are left truly mesmerized by Yi Ling's power, so much so that they begin idolizing him as the Academy's treasure. They are shocked by the rate of his advancement and get envious of his prowess, commenting on how he skyrocketed yet another step. Suddenly, the system screen pops up, revealing that, for successfully obtaining the third rank of the second grade, he's received a mysterious item as a reward. Hearing this, Yi Ling is delighted to no end. However, before he can find out what this mysterious item is, he gets surrounded by all the bystanders. They all pester him with questions, asking how on earth he managed to get so strong so quickly. They even try their luck with getting his contact info, pushing him further and further into a corner. Lucky guy. Thankfully, for him, Hong Shiyu decides to intervene and saves him from the situation. She announces she wants to have a chat with him, and he hurries over to her side. There, she questions when he obtained the Divine Phoenix pet, and Yi Ling simply claims it's a recent event. It's not like he can tell her about the cheat system after all. Anyway, she now has a task for Yi Ling. As it turns out, Li Qingyue has received a new mission, and hence, Yi Ling has to go back to his dorm and prepare to be dispatched quickly. Departure is imminent, she proclaims. In response, Yi Ling decides to hurry back to his dorm and get ready as soon as possible. Later that day, at his dormitory, Yi Ling finally gets some peace and quiet, the perfect time to get his secretive tasks out of the way. And that is when he decides to open up this mysterious gift, learning it was a crystallized phoenix blood. According to the system, the crystallized essence of the divine phoenix contains the power of a phoenix. Carrying it can dispel the cold and even keep the user on high alert. Moreover, by actively using the phoenix blood, one can summon the divine phoenix, a rank 9 level 10 monster. What's more, the crystal can even partially unlock the skills of the divine phoenix, prolonging its existence to a whopping 5 minutes. More than enough time to deal with whatever emergency he has to face. But even this is just scratching the surface. It's explained that he can use this crystal 3 times, and after it's maxed out, the phoenix blood will completely disappear as well. Learning all this, Yi Ling is in awe of this item he has received. Obviously, it's an incredibly powerful tool, although it's a shame that it can only be used 3 times. Don't get too greedy, dude. Just then he gets a deposit from Wu Shuan. Seeing this, he understands that Wu Shuan is serious about the outcome of the bet, and he wants to find an opportunity to resolve this conflict they both have. But for now, it's getting pretty late, and he has to depart on his first ever mission. As such, he heads to the meeting spot where he finds Zhao Siyu, along with her lackeys, already there. Seeing him come in, Zhao Siyu is excited, commenting on how he has given the entire grade a big surprise. More like a big fray, if you ask me. However, Yi Ling has bigger plans in mind. Now that he is the 3rd ranked, he asks if he has the qualification to challenge Zhao Siyu directly, and she reveals that he has gained that right. But before they can continue their conversation, Li Qingyue comes onto the scene, questioning if everyone is here. Upon her arrival, she also comments on how she has heard Yi Ling is now in the 3rd place in the 2nd rank. In response, Yi Ling tries to stay humble, mentioning he was lucky enough to just barely defeat Wu Shuan and attain her rank. Humble and strong, I can see why the girls want his contact info. Regardless, they now have a mission of the utmost importance on their hands. Hence, they have to execute it immediately. Li Qingyue explains that at the nearby Heian city, a lot of low-level demons have suddenly started to appear, so many in fact that it can be called a low-level demon tide. In order to keep the citizens safe and eliminate these threats, the city has sent a request for the Federation's help, and that is where the students come in. As per her, the low-level demon tide should not have any high-level monsters, making it good training for the students. Moreover, the students will always be followed by a teacher to ensure their safety as well. With this, she wants the students to ask any questions, if they have them, and if not, they need to depart urgently. However, none of the students have any further follow-up, and they all head out. And so, they all get into a car and begin their journey towards Heian City, which isn't that far away, and as a result, they will reach their destination pretty quickly. She also gives the students a manual of all the information they will need regarding the demons and their targets, telling them to familiarize themselves with all the possible foes. Like Peter Baelish said, knowledge is power. Consequently, Yi Ling and the others begin looking through the database, realizing their opponents are going to be undead-type monsters. Slowly but surely, the day turns into night, and the team reaches Heian City. However, as soon as they arrive, they find the city barrier surrounded by undead. Not only that, but something seems off. For a low-level demon tide, the sheer number of monsters is way too high. Zhao Siyu, upon closer notice, also finds some mid-level monsters mixed in the horde as well, making Li Qingyue worried. She thinks that maybe the information provided to them was wrong, or maybe the situation has changed. Nevertheless, their first priority is to head into Heian City. As such, she tells her students to hold on tight and speeds up. With this, she charges into the horde of monsters, running over them with the car. Pretty badass and effective. But the monsters won't go down without a fight, and in the blink of an eye, they get surrounded. The demons try to launch a counterattack, wanting to destroy their vehicle, but Yi Ling intervenes, casting a spiritual shield over him and his comrades, not wanting any of them to come into harm's way. Still, they are yet to make out unscathed, and Li Qingyue speeds up even more, using a skill called Energy Rush to finally make it past the horde and enter the city. All the while, from a cliff, a skeleton monster, revealed to be a Death Knight, is seen watching over the entire ordeal. However, he looks rather glad about the arrival of these humans. "Come on, you're all my sacrifices," he exclaims. Apparently, he's just waiting for the Red Moon to come, and he vows to sacrifice all the living beings in Heian City when the time is right. Inside the city's castle, all the students from all the top academies arrive safely and begin questioning the city lord, Luo, about what is going on. The situation appears to be vastly different from what they were told, and Luo proclaims that the circumstances are now dire. As per his knowledge, the number of demons around the city is increasing rapidly. But that's not all. What's even worse is that a death knight has also been spotted in the horde. Hearing this news, the students are left terrified. Even they can't do much against a fearsome foe such as a death knight. Just then, Li Qingyue comes barging in. She announces that, rather than sitting around, waiting for death, they should take the initiative and attack first. She reveals that, at the rate of monster increase, Heian City will suffer heavy losses. If they simply wait around, even if support arrives, and suggests they take the battle into their own hands. And Luo seems to agree with her idea, claiming they can only use heavy weapons in that case. Meanwhile, Yiling and the others wait outside the castle for their teacher. There, they take a good look around the city, realizing it's not as prosperous as the Holy City. Slowly but surely, minutes turn into hours, but Li Qingyue is still nowhere to be seen. Soon, Zhao Xiyu begins to wonder why Li Qingyue has yet to return from the meeting with the city lord. Suddenly, a commotion nearby diverts their attention. A few soldiers are seen carrying and transporting a spirit cannon, a very powerful weapon that uses dark crystals as energy. As per Zhao Xiyu, the city wouldn't resort to using such a weapon unnecessarily, meaning the situation has taken a turn for the worse and has become very serious. Yeah, no kidding. I think the battle is about to start, she exclaims. Just then, they hear a massive explosion. As per Yiling, the explosion is in the direction of the city wall and suggests they all go check out what is going on, and the other students agree. Over at the city wall, the soldiers are doing all they can to keep the advancing monster horde at bay. Using the spirit cannons, they fire repeated shots at their targets, not wanting them to break through by any means. Soon, Yiling and the others arrive at the wall, where Li Qingyue is seen already waiting for them. Upon their arrival, she explains that the defensive barrier of the city will be opened in a while, and then they have to venture out and hunt down the monsters together. However, she warns them to stay vigilant since there is a dangerous foe, the Death Knight, among the monsters. Hearing this, Zhao Xiyu is left surprised, claiming that a Death Knight has the strength of at least a rank 6 beast or above. What's more, Li Qingyue reveals that she has other, more important matters to attend to, hence she cannot head out with them. As per her, the battlefield is a chaotic place, and she tells the students to protect themselves with the utmost priority. With this, the group heads out. All the while, Zhao Xiyu comments on how unlucky Yiling is. It's his first mission, and now he has to go and encounter a terrifying monster like the Death Knight. She reminds him to be careful and not rush onto the front lines all willy-nilly. On the other hand, the system has a surprise of its own. It issues Yiling with another mission: to kill as many monsters as he can. The more he kills, the better the rewards are going to be once the tide has been successfully repelled. Seeing this, he becomes even more motivated, remarking on how the system always knows the best time to show up. Yeah, in the face of certain death. As they head to the wall, the other students from the other academies watch them intently. They finally get a chance to see the first ever male student of Zhu Juwei Academy in action. There, Zhao Xiyu once again tells him to not die, or else she will be really sad about having to collect his corpse. I mean, she could be more considerate in her wording, but it's a valid point. Suddenly, the city lord, Luo Junshan, comes flying in. Before they all launch their counterattack, he tries to rile up the troops with a speech. "Now is the time for us to defend Black Rock City," he exclaims. Having laid eyes on him for the first time, Yiling uses his Eye of Truth to check out his stats, learning that he's a rank 7 level 5 warrior with many powerful pets at his disposal. These stats leave Yiling in awe. Nevertheless, it's no time to be admiring someone. It is now time to raise their weapons and give the monsters a heavy blow. All of a sudden, the students and soldiers get riled up, overwhelmed with bloodlust. With this, Luo Junshan then orders for the gates to be opened, and the soldiers and students rush out, guns blazing. And so, as soon as the gates open, all hell breaks loose. Both sides begin attacking with all their might. The commanders tell the inexperienced fighters to not rush to the front and stay in the back lines, paying attention to the cooperation of the team and providing support. Even Yiling summons Shu Weiyu, telling her the battlefield is a very unpredictable place and hence, she must not venture too far away from him. Meanwhile, the Death Knight watches the humans' futile resistance from his cliff and is annoyed. He deems them all as a bunch of ignorant sacrifices and orders his arachnid monsters to come out and devour the foes till their hearts are content. Back on the battlefield, Zhao Xiyu is giving it her all to strike down these beasts, but gets too preoccupied. Suddenly, The giant monster comes jumping at her, but luckily for her, Yiling notices this and chimes in to help out his teammate, defeating the monster in a single strike. Just then, his attention is diverted to an incoming threat. He, along with Cao Siyu, notices that a large number of cave spiders are joining in on the frenzy, and the situation has now taken a turn for the worst. With the spiders' reinforcement, the tides turn in favor of the monsters. The spiders begin killing fighters left, right, and center, even targeting the wounded. However, just as one of the spiders attacks a wounded couple, it is blown into smithereens. As it turns out, this blast came from none other than Li Qingyue, who revealed that these spiders have a corrosive effect. Even a single blow from them could spell trouble, and it's important to evade either attack. But the ordeal is far from over. More and more cave spiders keep coming, pushing the humans deeper into a corner. With the help of these spiders, the demon tide begins to advance further, but the show is still not over. Out of nowhere, Luo Junshan comes riding on his spirit pet. Just with a single roar, the pet is able to completely overwhelm a huge number of foes, which leaves Yiling taken aback, and he comments on how strong this spirit pet is. Alas, this is just the beginning. Upon his arrival, Luo Junshan boosts the morale of his troops and orders them to charge in. Heeding their leader's command, the troops keep up their resistance, managing to keep the tide from making further progress. Nevertheless, despite their efforts, the monsters keep on coming. Li Qingyue claims that, as they advance more, the opponents are sure to get stronger. As such, Yiling decides it's finally time for him to bring out his trump card, Feng Jiyu. Consequently, he summons his phoenix pet, leaving all the troops mesmerized. Just from seeing Feng Jiyu, they can sense immense power radiating from her. But their reactions are not what one might expect. The teachers from the other academies are shocked. As per Luo Junshan, he never expected someone to be able to form a contract with the Divine Phoenix, commenting on how the younger generation keeps on surpassing the previous ones. Also, for Yiling, things are just starting to get interesting. He orders Feng Jiyu to show everyone just how amazing she is, and in her usual cocky attitude, Feng Jiyu rushes in to attack. With just a single blow, she is able to bring down several beasts. Now that's what you called overpowered. On the other hand, seeing the situation turn disadvantageous, the Death Knight gets more and more annoyed. "You still won't give up, you insignificant ants," he questions. Nevertheless, he too has many more tricks up his sleeve. He decides to use his skill, Undead Frenzy, allowing all the monsters under his command to reach a state of madness. This allows them to charge in with no fear, with even more force than before. In fact, this skill gives the undead so much more power that the humans begin to get pushed back yet again. Seeing this, Li Qingyue realizes that the Death Knight has frenzied the monsters, and this has increased their speed and attack significantly. In response, Luo Junshan also kicks it up a gear. He summons another one of his pets, Ice Crystal Turtle, and launches a counterattack. Using Frost Domain, he freezes a part of the battlefield, leaving the monsters frozen solid, unable to even move. As such, the humans use this to their advantage to keep on pushing. Seeing this, Yiling comments on how effective the slowing effect of this skill really is, and he too is all pumped up to show off his abilities. As such, he rides on top of Feng Jiyu, ordering her to show their foes what she is really made of. In response, Feng Jiyu begins to wreak even more havoc. She uses Hellfire Suppression, creating smaller birds made of green flames. This allows her to incinerate all within reach of her attack, and burn them to a crisp. There, Yiling reminds her to be careful not to harm any of their allies, but that is nothing to worry about, especially for a pet as powerful as her. Seeing the effects of this skill, the others are left feeling envious. They remark on how terrifying this divine bird's power really is, so much so they cannot believe it's a spirit pet belonging to a newly enrolled student. Little do they know, our boy has a cheat system. Seeing such a ferocious display of power, even Luo Junshan is left in awe and begins watching Feng Jiyu intently. On the other hand, the Death Knight is speechless. "What? It's impossible," he announces. He wonders why on earth the mighty divine phoenix bird would be contracted by a mere human. He never expected to be in such a situation, and realizes this could end up in an even worse predicament. As a result, he has to take some desperate measures and jumps directly into the battlefield. There, he pleads with his powerful master to bestow more power upon him. All of a sudden, the sky turns dark. I mean, it was already night, but even darker than that. Up in the sky, a black hole appears, out of which a black mist emerges and reaches the Death Knight, who offers the sacrifice of the insignificant ants and their whole group to his powerful master. With this, the mist begins pouring inside of the Death Knight. All the while, the humans can see and feel the change in the atmosphere. They sense an even greater menace than before and wonder what is going on. Apparently, they speculate that the Death Knight must be summoning something. Even Luo Junshan is left distressed, wondering if there could really be a mastermind behind the Death Knight. With this, a terrifying monster makes its appearance on the battlefield. Witnessing this, Li Qingyue realizes that this beast is none other than a Lich King. With this new power, the monsters gain the upper hand once more, and the tide turns in their favor, so much so that the troops are left completely demoralized. They begin to wonder if they will even manage to return from this place alive. Screw that, they wonder if this city will even survive such a terrifying monster's rage, questioning if they will see the appearance of the city ever again. However, not everyone is left in despair. The teachers try to get a handle on the situation by motivating the troops. They announce that the city lord is still fighting with all his might to suppress this enemy. If so, how can they just give up like this and sit around in despair? Thanks to this, the students once again begin to rise up to confront the enemy horde, commenting on how they should be able to get through this ordeal with so many spirit tamers. I believe we will definitely be safe, they think. After all, they have Yi Ling and his plot armor on their side. But is that really the case? Just then, Lu of Junshan rushes over to Li Qingyue's side, revealing that there is an even more terrifying presence behind the Death Knight. As per him, they have to resolve this quickly, or else things could take a turn for the worse. And so, he orders Li Qingyue to take care of the students, claiming he will go and deal with the Death Knight on his own. However, even she knows such a plan is too dangerous. They can't afford to lose the leader of their troops, and she decides to go and assist Luo Junshan with the fight. As a result, she summons her spirit pet, Blazing Fire Kite, and rushes to aid the city lord. As she leaves, she tells her students to be careful, especially now that she won't be around to ensure their safety, and Yi Ling tells her to go with peace of mind. And so, the duo soon reaches the enemy leader, the Death Knight, and confronts it. After making contact, Luo Junshan immediately jumps in for an attack, telling his foe to go back to your hell. Alas, such a melee attack won't be enough to bring down a Death Knight, who blocks the blow with ease. He claims that these insignificant ants are overestimating themselves and cannot possibly withstand his power. All of a sudden, Luo Junshan is attacked by monsters from the back, but fortunately for him, Li Qingyue senses them coming and uses her pet to shield him from the blow, allowing Luo Junshan and the Death Knight to duke it out alone. However, having a one-on-one fight wasn't really a part of the Death Knight's plan. In the midst of the battlefield, a gigantic hand suddenly emerges from the black hole. Obviously, Yi Ling is left perplexed after witnessing such a sight and wonders what on earth this could be. However, before he knows it, the hand comes at him at full speed and grabs hold of him. This leaves him in a terrible situation, and he is still left questioning why on earth this thing is trying to capture him. Maybe it likes you. Meanwhile, Li Qingyue watches all this unfold from a distance and realizes they have messed up. As per her, the enemy wants to capture Yi Ling. The other warriors are also left stunned by what's going on, and they wonder why the foe would bother capturing a newbie spirit tamer. Nevertheless, Shu Wei, you will not allow for this to happen. In the blink of an eye, she jumps up into the air, ordering the hand to let go of her master. Alas, she is too late. The hand manages to get away from her. There, Yi Ling orders Shu Wei you to quickly return to the spirit pet imprint, and is then pulled into the black hole. On the other hand, Luo Junshan becomes distracted from his own battle, claiming that they are too late to save their fighter. There is no time left, he exclaims. Even Li Qingyue feels defeated after allowing one of her pupils to meet such an unexpected end. But the Death Knight couldn't be happier. He begins dancing around in joy. However, this only enrages her even more. Suddenly, her face is painted with anger, and she vows to avenge the life of her student. Pay the price, she demands of the Death Knight, as she moves in to swiftly bring his life to an end. But all her anger does is amuse the Death Knight even more, and he begins to laugh maniacally about his ants. In response, Luo Junshan also chimes in, and together they unleash a devastating attack, sure to bring down any foe. As the dust from the attack settles, the Death Knight emerges on the verge of death. How ironic. Despite this, he doesn't give up on his arrogant demeanor. Despite being on death's door, he continues to deem the humans as a bunch of puny insects, questioning if they really think they have won. Dream on. he announces as he gets back up for a final show of resistance. Out of nowhere, his body begins to glow with a reddish hue, and Luo Junshan recognizes this attack. He claims that the death mite is about to self-destruct, telling his comrade to be careful. Suddenly, as soon as the death mite explodes, a bunch of evil-looking spirits come pouring out of him, and Li Qingyue knows this can't be any good. Damn undead scourge, she scorns. On the other hand, these evil spirits begin to infect the undead monsters and take over their bodies, leaving them in an even more crazed state. But that's not all. After boosting the strength of the monsters, the spirits then begin attacking the soldiers as well. In the heat of the moment, Zhao Siyu is left defenseless against these spirits and is about to be devoured alive. However, just in the nick of time, she is saved by Li Qingyue, who has come to help out her pupil. There, Zhao Siyu explains the situation to her, revealing that Yi Ling has been captured. She questions what they should do in this situation, and in response, Li Qingyue reveals that the death mite has been taken care of already. For now, they should eliminate the demonic creatures first, and then worry about everything else. And so, the troops resume their battle with the undead. Meanwhile, Yi Ling is revealed to be trapped inside a dark void with nothing in sight. Of course, this freaks him out, and he is deeply distressed. Feng Jiyu questions her master about where they are, but it's not like he has any idea, none whatsoever. Suddenly, a mysterious figure in a robe appears behind him, and Yi Ling senses its presence immediately. As such, he tells the figure to stop playing games and hiding, telling it to come out and say whatever it wants. He questions why he has been brought to this place, but the figure begins to chuckle sinisterly. The figure is revealed to be none other than the Lich King himself, named Li Wei. What's more, it's a rank 8 level 3. With many skills and talents, Li Wei, upon seeing Yi Ling's courage, is a bit surprised, commenting on how he is truly worthy of being contracted with the divine phoenix bird. On the other hand, after learning the status of his foe, Yi Ling is left paralyzed with fear. Even Li Qingyue and Lu of Junshan are only rank 7 spirit tamers, but this monster far surpasses their level, a truly terrifying monster. Nevertheless, the Lich King begins to speak. He asks how this young man managed to form a contract with the divine phoenix, claiming that such a powerful spiritual pet has never appeared in the entirety of the Federation before. All the while, Yi Ling begins rummaging through all the plans of action he can utilize. Alas, he can only pin his hopes on the crystallized phoenix blood when things come down to it. Expecting this, he has no other choice. As such, he questions why on earth a Lich King is interested and curious about him, a mere rank 2 spirit tamer. Hearing this, the Lich King begins to laugh yet again. He explains that, although Yi Ling is only a rank 2 tamer at the moment, he has immense potential. Nevertheless, he doesn't understand how great of a being a divine phoenix really is. But all this does is make Yi Ling even more curious, and he asks what the purpose of bringing him to this place is. As a result, the Lich King, rewarding Yi Ling's courage, decides to show him something. He reveals to him the Scourge organization. Apparently, the Lich King wants Yi Ling to join this Scourge organization and help them overthrow the false benevolence of the Federation in order to create a truly equal world. If he does so, Li Wei promises to bestow him with even more terrifying power, promising to grant him the ability to destroy the heavens and earth. But Yi Ling remains calm, even in front of such a dangerous monster. He announces that all the Lich King has done up until now is talk without presenting any concrete evidence of plans. To him, it seems like he is just making empty promises. In his mind, he knows that this space is completely under the control of Li Wei. Although he isn't sure of the situation outside, it's probably not good to linger in this place for long. But the Lich King isn't really happy about Yi Ling's cocky attitude, explaining that if he doesn't bend the knee and accept his offer, he will have to forfeit his life. With this, he unleashes undead corruption, giving the boy a final chance to repent and accept his offer. However, Yi Ling remains quiet. Sarcastically, he uses the crystallized phoenix blood, thinking it's his only hope to survive. All the while, his silence enrages the Lich King even more, who finally decides to get rid of Yi Ling, since he won't be of any use to him. Outside the void, the monsters go berserk, and the battle gets even more heated. Seeing this, Li Qingyue orders all the teachers to come together and block the monsters' attacks, and the prolonged battle continues. There, Zhao Siyu seems to be worried about their comrade, but, as per Li Qingyue, no one knows where he is. As such, Yi Ling can only rely on his own power to get back, and they can offer no help. At that moment, Zhao Ziyu thinks about Yi Ling, wishing he would come back alive. Back inside the void, a blinding light appears out of nowhere, leaving the Lich King surprised. As fate would have it, he is now confronted by a rank 9 spirit pet, the divine phoenix bird, in all its glory. Li Wei, is that all you got? Yi Ling questions, leaving Li Wei distressed. In the first place, he didn't reveal his name to this human, and now, he manages to summon a rank 9 divine phoenix. This leaves him stunned and questioning just who Yi Ling really is. Also, he won't have a chance to figure it out. With this, the divine phoenix moves in for the kill and uses her skill, scorching the heavens. However, Li Wei is able to erect a defensive spell called Deathcloud Alley just in the nick of time, allowing him to avoid turning to ash. But his defense won't last for long. Yi Ling vows to show his foe the power of a rank 9 divine phoenix and orders his pet to end things once and for all. And just like that, the divine phoenix launches another attack. This time, Li Wei's skill is rendered useless, and he begins to take damage. All of a sudden, he disappears from sight, left in awe of the divine bird's power. Nevertheless, this makes Yi Ling wonder if the Lich King actually burned to death or if he managed to cheat death. Regardless, he stumbles upon something strange and gets his hands on a ring. As it turns out, this ring is the Lich King's storage ring. However, sensing the divine phoenix's summon duration is almost over, he decides to check out Li Wei's items later on and first decides to leave this place as soon as possible. Consequently, he orders the divine phoenix to set this place ablaze. Thanks to this, he is able to escape the confines of the black void and reappear in the outside world. Nonetheless, he's still in danger. Since he is up in the sky, he begins to fall to the ground with great speed. As such, to save her comrade, Zhao Ziyu uses her pet to catch him mid-air, while Li Qingyue gets rid of any monsters in her path. Thanks to this, Yi Ling is able to safely make his way to the ground, where he finds himself surrounded by his allies. What's more, by the looks of things, the demons appear to have retreated. According to Li Qingyue, it's due to Yi Ling's return. Suddenly, Luo Junshan comes running into view. Addressing the soldiers, he orders them to continue chasing after the monsters and eliminate them all. On the other hand, Zhao Ziyu and Li Qingyue help Yi Ling and walk him to a safe place. On the way, Li Qingyue questions where he was taken to. In response, Yi Ling explains that he was captured by a necromancer called Li Wei and taken to a dark abyss. However, hearing this, Li Qingyue is left stunned. She questions how on earth her student was able to escape the clutches of a rank 8 monster and hastily makes her way to the infirmary, claiming they have to check Yi Ling's body for any injuries. Later that night, he reveals that the Scourge organization is the one behind the demon tide. His teammates congratulate and compliment him for managing to get away from such a powerful foe, but he chalks it up to luck. Nevertheless, the ordeal must have left him exhausted, and Li Qingyue wants him to rest. Additionally, she also needs to report everything to the academy, and hence, the others take their leave while he gets some shut-eye. However, as soon as they leave, Yi Ling immediately brings out Li Wei's storage ring, claiming he is curious to see what is inside. As a result, he learns there are many valuable items inside the ring, all high-level evolution materials. What's more, it also has many experienced crystals, making Yi Ling excited to see his pet make significant breakthroughs in their levels. On the other hand, at the base of the Scourge organization in Cataclysm City, the leader is informed about the failure of Li Wei's mission. Not only that, they also add that no remains of his corpse can be found anywhere. This leaves the leader distressed. He wonders how this is possible. After all, Li Wei was one of the most powerful commanders in the Scourge troops. Apparently, the subordinate exclaims that he was killed by a divine phoenix. Hearing all this, the leader becomes saddened. According to him, Li Wei was his companion for over a century. Regardless, there are other things to attend to. As it turns out, someone called Black Robe has brought a young person to introduce to the leader. As a result, outside the leader's chambers, the Black Robe in question is seen with his guest, reminding him to choose his words carefully in front of the leader. As they enter the leader's chambers, the Black Robe explains that the man he has brought is the young master of the Liyi family, who wishes to join their organization. Look what the cat dragged in. Liyi Wu, you're really going to join hands with the undead. There, the leader welcomes their new recruit. However, before he can be inaugurated, there is something that needs to be done. The leader announces that every person who joins the Cataclysm organization must pay a price. Out of nowhere, spirit snakes appear in front of Liyi Wu and enter his body. making him endure agonizing pain. As per the leader, this is the price of joining his group. As long as Liyi Wu remains loyal, he will get endless power. But if he betrays them, he will be condemned to eternal damnation. Meanwhile, Yi Ling is still checking out all the items. There he finds a life-saving ring which can withstand a fatal attack, basically giving the user another life. Although it can only be used once a month, it's like having an extra life. Not a bad trade-off if you ask me. He even stumbles upon a shape-shifting card, which has the power to transform a target into human form, allowing the target to freely switch between both forms. Seeing this, Yi Ling gets excited and calls out Feng Jiyu, asking if she wants to have a human body. Obviously, Feng Jiyu has a tough time believing this is possible, but her master is no liar. He explains that she can revert back to her original form whenever she wants, and Feng Jiyu ultimately ends up agreeing to this idea. Just like that, Yi Ling wastes no time and begins the transformation process. Suddenly, Feng Jiyu is engulfed in a bright beam of light and begins to transform. All the while, Yi Ling realizes that after the transformation is done, Feng Jiyu won't be wearing any clothes, wondering if this process has to be so explicit. Enjoy it while you can, my guy. Soon, the transformation is done, and Feng Jiyu takes on the form of a young girl. However, this is not what Yi Ling imagined. Immediately after the transformation is complete, Feng Jiyu asks her master about her new form, but Yi Ling can't even answer her. Seeing the bare skin of this young beauty, he gets a massive nosebleed and almost collapses to the ground. Anyways, since the ordeal is already over, the students now have to retrain back and reach the holy city without any issues. Once there, Li Qingyue wants them all to take the day off and rest. But Yi Ling has other ideas in mind, wanting to go to Tianyu Pavilion first. On the way, he looks glad that he managed to kill a lot of demons. Thanks to this, as well as the experience crystals he found inside Li Wei's ring, his pets have managed to level up immensely. In addition, the items in the storage ring are all high-level materials, meaning they can be sold for a pretty penny. With this, he reaches the Tianyu Pavilion where the shop assistant, old Zhao, comes out to greet him. There, Yi Ling explains he is here to sell a whole lot of items, telling her to guide him to a large room, where he can lay out all the items. As a result, Zhao brings him to a nearby room, but Yi Ling is unsatisfied, explaining this won't be enough for everything he has to sell. Hearing this, even Zhao is left stunned, but ultimately guides him to the open lot near the entrance. This place is sure to be spacious enough. And so, one after the other, items begin pouring out of the storage ring, so much so that they create a mountain of materials. Obviously, Zhao is speechless after witnessing such a sight, stating how this hoard is almost enough for the Tianyu Pavilion to recycle materials for a whole month. In her mind, she comments on how Yi Ling's strength is truly worthy of being the first ever male student of Zhu Juwei Academy. Nevertheless, she ends up calling for more people to help her out with this pool of items. Suddenly, Shen Mengyao sneaks up behind him. Obviously, she too is shocked by the sheer amount of items Yi Ling has brought, commenting on how, if she didn't know any better, she would assume he robbed her beloved pavilion. But I can't blame her. She's cute, after all. And even Yi Ling shares my point of view, stating that no one has the guts to do such a thing. Anyways, with her arrival, she tells Zhao to call the others to help her out. She wants the items to be counted as soon as possible, since she has to go to an auction later, and Zhao gets right onto it. On the other hand, hearing the word auction, Yi Ling's curiosity is piqued. He asks if he can accompany his senpai to the auction. But of course, she has nothing to gain from this. As such, to sweeten the deal, Yi Ling promises to give her a secret potion. Seeing this, Shen Mengyao is curious as to what this little glass bottle could hold that could be so important, and in response, Yi Ling reveals it is the Fire Dragon Blood Essence. As fate would have it, this is exactly what she's been looking for. Out of excitement, she hugs Yi Ling tightly, pressing his head into her gigantic bobas, leaving him with a sensation he had yet to ever feel. All the while, Zhao is taken aback by her employer's actions and books it out of there, too embarrassed to continue watching. However, Shen Mengyao stops her, asking her to verify that this is indeed the Fire Dragon's blood essence, and Zhao immediately goes to do so. Meanwhile, Shen Mengyao, glad to receive this item, tells Yi Ling to come to her anytime he wants, promising to cover his next item's costs. As a result, Yi Ling wants to head to the Spirit Pet Egg section in order to get one for himself. Consequently, she leads him to the pavilion's collection, boasting of the fact that they have over 10,000 eggs to choose from. With this, The two of them eventually reach the egg section, and Shen Mengyao explains that all the eggs have their relevant information and prices listed. As thanks for the blood essence, she decides to give him a 40% discount on any egg he likes, and Yi Ling immediately begins searching for a suitable one. However, no matter how much he searches, it is to no avail. Although there are many rare pets in this facility, they don't seem to be the ones he's looking for. Just then, Xiao comes rushing into the room. Apparently, she has verified that his vial really is the fire dragon blood essence, making Shen Mengyao even happier. Unable to control herself, she once again hugs Yi Ling, caressing his head and commenting on how much she loves him. However, like the healthy young boy he is, so much skinship is, well, excessive. And he begins to have yet another massive nose bleed. Anyway, she then asks if he has managed to find the spirit egg he wants, but Yi Ling states these eggs aren't suitable for him. And there isn't anything here he likes. Hearing this, she then comes up with another solution. She promises to take him to the auction later, telling him to try his luck there, and Yi Ling agrees. Later that day, Shen Mengyao then accompanies him to the auction house. On the way, she tells him that there are sure to be some rare and awesome things up for grabs. However, she warns him not to get his hopes too high, since the items that appear here tend to be on the expensive side. Elites and their antics, am I right? And Yi Ling tells her not to worry. After all, he only has a limited budget, so he can only pick up items that are on a bargain. As such, she then takes him to her private room upstairs. Eventually, it is almost time for the show to begin, and she orders Yi Ling to sit down anywhere he likes. Zhao is also seen to be present there and reveals that, on today's list, a very special spirit pet is on the auction list. Even though the details weren't mentioned properly, most of the people gathered today are aiming for that pet egg. This piques Yi Ling's curiosity, who decides to be a part of the rare race. Soon, the auction finally begins and the auctioneer, Ling Long, heads up to the stage and welcomes her guests. Moreover, she then brings out the first item of the auction, a scarlet blood flower. Apparently, using this, the spirit pet can gain certain fire resistance, as well as the ability to control the fire element. With this, she begins the auction with a starting price of 1 million federal points. All the while, Yi Ling uses his Eye of Truth to look up the information on this item. But no matter how much he learns, the only conclusion he can come to is that the auction is way too overpriced. I mean, it's a good item and all, but 1 million points aren't anything to joke about. Nevertheless, unlike him, the others present at the auction are not broke. One after the other, the buyers bid on the item, and the prices reach 110.5 million in the blink of an eye. Seeing this, Yi Ling is unable to believe his ears. He asks Shen Mengyao what this material is so expensive for, and, in response, she explains the supply and demand rule. In addition, she reveals that some people in the crowd are also here just to deliberately raise the price, telling him to just wait and see. Regardless, the first item is sold to the highest bidder, and Ling Long brings out the next item, a mysterious spirit egg. As per her, the egg could not be appraised, and they couldn't even find any record of such an egg in the referral database. As a result, she starts the bid with 3 million points, but no one seems to be interested. The crowd gossips with each other, commenting on how there is little to no information about it. The fact is, the item could be amazing or it could be trash, and no one wants to be out 3 million on a silly bet. Of course, the egg looks to be of good quality with a white jade shell, but they all fear a big loss if the spirit pet inside happens to be a weakling. But, to everyone's surprise, there's actually someone ready to pay, that someone being Yi Ling, who bids the 3 million without hesitation. Of course, the crowd is shocked, but they all think this is the stupidest decision they have ever seen. Apparently, they think Tianyu Pavilion has bought their own item, to make sure no item is unsold, ensuring they don't become a laughing stock. Nevertheless, since no one else wants to chime in, the egg is sold to Yi Ling. Up in the private room, Shen Mengyao questions what on earth her junior is thinking. He didn't like any of the pets they had available, but is now choosing to buy an egg with no prior information. In response, Yi Ling teases her, remarking on how happy he is that she is worried about him. This comment makes Shen Mengyao blush, and trying to hide her embarrassment, she looks away. But little does she know, our boy is no idiot. In reality, he has already checked out the egg's stats using his Eye of Truth and appraised its worth. With this, Ling Long moves on to the next item, which is revealed to be an ice sea pearl. According to her, not only does the ice sea pearl look exceptionally beautiful, but it also has a very powerful ability to summon a rank 8 level 5 magic beast called the Ice Beast. For this highly sought after item, The bidding starts at a whopping 20 million Federation points. Seeing this, Yi Ling has to take a look at the capabilities of this ice pearl and uses his Eye of Truth to find out it can be used a total of 9 times, with only a 24-hour cooldown. In addition, it can help the user fight off some mental attacks while maintaining mental clarity under such circumstances. If you ask me, it's better than Yi Ling's crystallized phoenix blood. Consequently, Shen Mengyao asks Yi Ling's thoughts on this item, but he deems it to be too flashy and impractical. Basically, it's not worth it. But the crowd doesn't seem to think the same. One after the other, everyone begins to bid on the item, and in a split second, the bids reach upwards of 35 million. Suddenly, a big shot decides to chime in. "I bid 70 million, a voice proclaims from the back of the crowd, leaving everyone speechless. Obviously, they all wonder who on earth this man could be, and how rich he needs to be in order to spend such an exorbitant amount on the ice pearl. However, Shen Mengyao, after hearing this voice, gets annoyed. She realizes it must be Sun Hao, and calls him a good-for-nothing, who only uses his family's name and influence to show off. Typical spoiled young master. Furious, she wants to leave now, since the auction has come to an end, and Yi Ling agrees to do the same. After all, he has to go and pick up his spirit pet egg. Inside his mind, she comments on how Shen Mengyao seems to have a distaste for Sun Hao. As they both prepare to leave their private box, Sun Hao himself comes up to greet Shen Mengyao. Of course, she hates his guts and questions what he is doing here, especially when he wasn't even invited. In response, Sun Hao reveals he is here to give her a gift, aka the Ice Sea Pearl, which is worth 70 million. But seeing her with a scrawny kid, he gets enraged. He immediately asks who this guy is, questioning what sort of relationship they have together. Nonetheless, it's none of his concern. Shen Mengyao shuts him down, claiming she doesn't need his permission to spend time with someone and can hang out with whoever she wants to. As such, Sun Hao turns his fangs towards Yi Ling, asking who he thinks he is. He is furious at the fact he is with Shen Mengyao and tells him to go away, unless he wants his legs to be broken. Little does he know, our boy loves trouble. In response, Yi Ling tells Sun Hao to calm down, stating anger won't solve anything. Still, Shen Mengyao just wants to get out of this situation and tries to take Yi Ling with her. However, he has other plans in mind. He realizes Shen Mengyao is always being pestered by this scumbag and announces that if she wants to change the situation, she should cooperate with him. Out of nowhere, he grabs her, brings her closer, and gives her a kiss. Seeing this, Sun Hao is left red with rage. "How dare you kiss my Mengyao?" he exclaims. "Such an act deserves death," and he orders his bodyguards to attack Yi Ling immediately. There, Yi Ling finds himself pitted against 2 rank, 5 tamers and 1 rank, 7 tamer, commenting on how Sun Hao has such powerful bodyguards. But Shen Mengyao intervenes. She reminds Sun Hao that this is the territory of the Shen family, ordering them not to cause a ruckus here. Even Sun Hao's bodyguards feel the same way. One of his closest aides reminds him he cannot handle things in this place, and as a result, he decides to leave, throwing the Ice Sea Pearl on the ground before doing so. On his way out, he orders his guard to find out who this kid is and learns that he is Yi Ling, the only male enrolled in Zhujuwei Academy, and the only person in the entire Federation to have a contract with the Divine Phoenix. Also, Sun Hao doesn't care a single bit about his enemy's achievements. He simply wants Yi Ling dead, no matter what the cost. On the other hand, according to Yi Ling, that guy will never bother Shen Mengyao again, but she looks embarrassed as all heck, trying to create some distance. Even Zhao is left embarrassed and runs out of the room. Inside Shen Mengyao's mind, she reveals this was her first kiss and becomes flustered, turning red like a beet. Wanting to hide her embarrassment, she too flees the scene, leaving Yi Ling surprised that this young lady has shy moments too. "Bro, you just kissed her. Of course, she's gonna be shy." Later that day, Yi Ling returns to his dorm, where he calls out his pets to show off the new egg he has bought. There, Feng Ji seems to be a bit jealous, commenting on how her master has found a new favorite, but that's not the case. As per Yi Ling, she should be happy that they will have a new friend. Nevertheless, he cannot wait to reveal his new pet. Witness the miracle, he announces as he makes contact with the egg. Suddenly, it starts to hatch, and out comes a cute, adorable spirit fox. As it turns out, this is a 3-tailed spirit fox. Finding the little guy adorable, Yi Ling moves in to pet the spirit fox, and in response, the fox jumps on his shoulder. However, this makes Feng Jiyu very jealous. She claims that Yi Ling's shoulder is her spot, but her master tells her not to be so petty, especially now that she has taken on a human form. But all this does is trigger Feng Jiyu even more. Regardless, Yi Ling now wants to think of a name for the three-tailed fox, but Feng Jiyu has no interest and suggests a tacky name. Obviously, Yi Ling is against it and tries to find a cute name for his new pet, ultimately deciding on Bai Lin, which the fox also seems to like. In addition, he also decides to level up Bai Lin using the experience crystals he has handy. On the other hand, at the Tianyu Pavilion, Shun Mengyao tells her father, Shun Fei Yun, about what happened earlier, and he finds it hilarious. He's glad that his daughter can stand up for herself, and Yun compliments Yi Ling, commenting on how he seems like a guy with many good points. However, when he mentions Yi Ling, Shun Mengyao's face becomes red as a beet after she recalls what happened. And, being her father, Fei Yun notices this immediately. Of course, she tries to hide her flustered face, but it's of no use, and her father asks if she has a crush on Yi Ling. Hearing this, she becomes even more embarrassed and escapes to her room. All the while, Fei Yun takes a keen interest in the young man, who was able to make a woman of his daughter, claiming he wants to meet him whenever he gets a chance to do so. Regardless, a week goes by. At the Zhu Juwei Academy, Zhao of Siyu encounters Yi Ling, who has come back today to challenge her. Hearing these words of provocation, the students begin gathering to see the fight. Also, why on earth are there guys here? Wasn't this supposed to be an all-girls school? Did the author mess up, wasting no time witnessing the battle for the #1 spot? The crowd grows larger by the second and gossips with each other, wondering who will emerge victorious from the two. More or less, Zhao Siyu is the favorite. After all, she has been the #1 in the second grade for a while now. Nonetheless, Yi Ling and Zhao Siyu are raring to go. Siyu calls two of her spirit pets, Gale Dragon and Diamond Ape, deciding to go all out from the start. The fact is, she knows Yi Ling's true strength and hence can't afford to go easy on him. As a result, Yi Ling also calls out Shuiyu, but refuses to bring out Feng Jiyu as well. This enrages Zhao Siyu, who thinks she's being taken lightly. She tells her opponent to bring out his Divine Phoenix as well, questioning if he is looking down on her. But Yi Ling tells her not to worry and to bring it on. And so, Siyu moves in to deal with this arrogant guy and orders both her pets to charge in. As such, both pets try to aim directly for Yi Ling, knowing ending him will bring the battle to an end. Also, it won't be so easy. He manages to evade the incoming blows and hides behind Shuiyu for cover. Moreover, Yi Ling tells her to use her new skill, Death Gaze, and she heeds her master's command. Jumping up in the air, she closes in on the approaching Diamond Ape and uses her skill, slowing him down significantly. Seeing this, Siyu is left stunned. She is confused and wonders what is going on, but Shuiyu keeps up the pressure and goes on the offensive.